Here's an example of when aria labels can cause more harm than good. Let's take a look. So here we have a set of focusable elements. The first one is a regular link with a title, Get in Touch. So I believe it will take us to the contact page. Then we have two detailed summary tags that act as toggles. So if I click on it, it drops down and shows some content. Then we have some other links. They also work with the keyboard. So if I press the tab key, I can get focus into them. For links, they are activated with the enter key. So if I press the enter key, it should activate the link. For things that are like buttons, they activate using either the spacebar or the enter key. If I press the spacebar now, it triggers it open. If I press the enter key, it triggers it to close. So either spacebar or enter key, they both work for things that are acting as buttons. Then for links, it's just enter key. So this is all fine and good. It works well with the mouse. It works well with the keyboard. But now this is where things get tricky, when people start trying to over-engineer accessibility. So looking at it visually, you can see this is a link. It has that on the line, which makes us visually think it's a link. We have the hover state, and we have the title that says Get in Touch. If you see that link that says Get in Touch, what will you immediately think it does? Wouldn't you think it goes to the Contact Us page? So that means it is already descriptive enough that it is going to the Contact Us page. So there's no need for us to start trying to add any aria label to overly explain the link. It is only when we come to links like learn more, whereby learn more doesn't really mean much, because learn more about what? The person will get confused, like, what am I learning more about? That is only when you start trying to add some aria label. So now let's go over to breaks and see how some people create problems while trying to become more accessible. So first we'll start with the breaks, then I will also test with Elementor so you can see the variations. So in breaks, people get tempted whenever they see the text inputs, they want to always fill it. So some people will go ahead to start trying to fill all of this information, trying to get more SEO juice or accessibility, but not knowing that they are creating more harm than good. So we'll test it out now. So before we even do this, the way we'll be testing out today is using the voice control or voice access. If you have a Windows computer, it comes by default. You just search for voice access, and I'm going to activate it. So now it has been activated. Let me go back to the other page. And all I have to say is voice access wake up, but I'll be doing it manually so I don't affect the recording. So I'm going to click on the microphone icon now to start the voice access. Click Get in Touch. Click Pink. Click Learn More. 1. So if you notice what happened, that because I can see the visual text, I can easily use the voice control to control the visual text. When I say click Get in Touch, it immediately clicks the Get in Touch. If I say click pink, it will immediately trigger that pink. It's basically working like the mouse and then clicking what I say it should click. Because there are 2 learn more on the page, it will not give me numbers to say, am I trying to get to number 1 or number 2? Then I just have to announce the number and it will open it up for me. But now watch what happens when I start messing around with aria labels. So I'll come back, and if I come to the Get in Touch, go to the content, you see people get tempted to start adding so many things. Like now for the Get in Touch, some people might be tempted to say links to the contact page and save it. They will even go ahead to put a title and say maybe contact page, because they feel they're trying to get some SEO boost or some accessibility boost, which in reality, they're just making it worse. So let's save this, and I'll go ahead and now try it again. So now we have a Get in Touch. Let me try accessing it. So I will click on the voice access. Click Get in Touch. Click Get in Touch. click pink. Click links to the contacts page. So, you see where the problem lies? Now, although we are seeing it visually as get in touch, what is actually being communicated to all assistive technology is that this whole thing is called links to the contact page. And it is completely different from what we're seeing visually. So that can create problems for people using voice control, which is why we recommend whenever you're going to add an aria label, still include the visual text in the aria label. So this is an example of how we're doing it. So for the first learn more, I can now come to the aria label and say, learn more about Devden web dev. Okay, I save it now and I go back, refresh. So when I now come and then I activate it again, click learn more. 1. It still works. Click learn more about Devden web dev. So you see, it basically still allows us to use based on the physical text to still use the voice control. So that's why the physical text should still be in your aria label. Unless there is no physical text at all, then use some words that are common, like play, pause, the words that are common that people will first think about. Don't start adding your aria label with some complicated words if you're going to be relying on solely icons. For example, the logo, we know it goes to the home page, but to satisfy both at the same time, you now say logo ipsum homepage. So you are saving people who are using voice control as well as people who are using the screen reader. So you are thinking ahead and working to save both people. So that's it. Let's try it also in Elementor. So here we are in Elementor. For example, this link about the privacy policy, if I want to add it, make sure that the icon itself is something that really conveys what you're trying to do. If the icon cannot convey the information properly, then you might want to add some actual text. So that will now save screen reader users. But if you want to add an aria label to the text, you come to the link, go to the cog icon that says link options, and then you add an aria label here. The only limitation with this for Elementor is that you cannot make it dynamic. So let's say you're working in a card and you have that read more button at the bottom of your card. You can't say read more about and then you put the dynamic tag for the post title. Unfortunately, with Elementor, it's not possible. But with breaks, you have that option to add dynamic data. So I can simply put dynamic data here and put maybe post title and the dynamic data. Well, that's the only difference between Elementor and breaks. Breaks gives you more flexibility, but you can still get it done in Elementor and everything will still be the same. So that's why the recommendation is make your visible text to be as descriptive as possible. So contact, get in touch, we know it's going to the contact us page or things like that. If you are forced to use learn more or read more, then make sure the physical text is still part of the aria label. This will help voice access users as well as the screen reader users. So try to make a balance that it is not only visually impaired users, there are users who can still see and still rely on assistive technology. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.